Have you ever wondered why the stocking community is so addicted to overpaying for bullion? It's crazy, but I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of like anything else in life, right? I mean, we got Browns fans, we got Bengals fans, we got Detroit Lions fans. I mean, I guess it kind of goes with the territory, right? But I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of crazy because we've been conditioned to believe like you super need to overpay for bullion. Now, these days, it's starting to become the norm that there's a 10% premium or higher on pretty much every bullion piece when that really wasn't always the case. I mean, realistically, other countries circulated this crap. So why can't we do that? I mean, why can't we find it? Well, first and foremost, all of the coin rolls have been picked through many, many times. I mean, your dad and your grandpa were doing that way back when. There's very little left in there. Can you make some money? Yeah, absolutely. You can find some stuff in there. It's pretty fun to look through coin rolls, but most people these days are either going to the coin shop or buying online. And I think the biggest offender for premiums is obviously buying online. Why? Because it's easy and because you can find pretty much everything that you want. But, a good portion of your money is going right to the bullion companies. They don't care. They can sit there and wait you out. I hear all the time, I'm going to wait for lower premiums. And then it just kind of never happens. Well, at least post 2020. So the bullion dealers, I mean, basically it's pure collusion. I mean, I think somebody said that the biggest bullion dealers are all kind of owned by the same company. That's pretty crazy, but it makes perfect sense. It's kind of like everything else in life, right? Coke, Pepsi, collusion. I mean, that's kind of how business works, especially at that level. Things like this, though, the fact that we're so addicted to bullion makes me wonder if the real star of the show is actually constitutional, because at the end of the day, silver is silver, right? You'll hear a lot of different channels saying, doesn't matter whether it's high premium, low premium, blah blah blah, silver is silver. And I think there's some definite truth to that. Now, the flip side of that is, of course, in normal times, people have money and they're more discerning as far as what they buy. So at that point, your buyer being, peer, if you're selling peer to peer, is gonna, look for something that's a better value for their money. So in that case, silver wouldn't necessarily be silver. My biggest question though is, are the people who buy silver actually stackers? Or, is there a giant collecting community out there? It's pretty interesting. I'm actually not sure. I mean, obviously, I think that the bulk of it is going to be just people, quote unquote, stacking silver for, whatever value there is there. Things like this, the Eagle, which is obviously the go-to most popular bullion piece, I think, on the face of the planet. But the hard part is, okay, if that's the case, if people are stacking for bullion, doesn't that mean that silver is silver? Well, no, not necessarily. Again, it comes down to who's your buyer. And it also comes down to what you have. Because, again, my theory on it is having the higher premium piece does kind of add an extra layer of protection. Because if the doomsday scenario that a lot of stackers kind of live by, when SHTF, that scenario, when it doesn't come, things like this, higher premium stuff, definitely, holds its weight. Whereas in a real SHTF, this would basically be a waste of money, a complete waste of money, because at the end of the day, silver really would be silver, or at least that's the thought process. Myself, I always like to have, a little bit of nicer stuff, because I figure at some point, if I, I'm on my deathbed and I decide to, or maybe not my deathbed, but I get that you got 12 months to live diagnosis. I'm going to try and squeeze every last dollar out of these bullion pieces, and then, go do something fun with it, as opposed to, walking into the coin shop and saying, here, pay me spot, or $1 over spot for something that I paid $5 over spot for. Not likely. So having the cooler stuff, I think there's definitely value there. Now, the numismatic stuff, again, that's just an additional layer of protection to your stack, because they're not making any more of the numismatic stuff. So if you can find it, it's in good condition, obviously, that's a win-win. The thing is, the knowledge base to be able to do that, most people are not going to have that, and most people aren't going to get big enough into stacking to have that. So for me, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's like, do I learn enough about it where that's actually added value, or do I just stick to what I'm doing? Like most stackers, you get lazy, you stick to what you're doing. But for me, I think having things that are easily recognizable, which most of this stuff is just pretty much generic bullion pieces, nicer bullion pieces, but bullion pieces nonetheless. I think that's kind of the way to go in this current environment. The premiums, they are what they are. You kind of can't fight the man unless you, like I said, you're coin roll hunting or doing things like that and finding deals. For myself, I wish that there was like a more reliable kind of thing like OfferUp, where you can actually find people who are just getting rid of stuff, where not necessarily that you're ripping them off, but if they're willing to get rid of it, they just want money. Hey, if you could buy silver like that, that'd be great. But my biggest question for stackers is, if it really is all about weight, then why would you waste your money on bullion at all? Why wouldn't you just save your money and buy a big industrial silver bar? I think it's 1,000 ounces. That would be the best bang for your buck, right? If you could get a hold of it. Once you have the 1,000-ounce bar, then you can go ahead and cut it into whatever you want, make your own rounds, pour your own stuff, whatever you want to do with it. But wouldn't that be the most efficient way? I do believe I went to the coin shop one time, and he was saying, if you want 1,000-ounce bars, I can get it to you like just above spot. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I never thought of that. But obviously, 1,000-ounce bar is a big commitment, right? You got to be pretty sure that spot's going to go up to be able to recoup your money. Now, the interesting thing I was thinking about is, what if you just took that 1,000-ounce industrial bar and made poured pieces of it and made some premium? Obviously, there'd be a time factor in there, whatever your time is worth. But that could be a pretty interesting way to make some money. I got to look into that. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure silver shot is more expensive than what a comparable, bar at spot, a large bar at spot would be. So I don't think that's the most efficient way, which is, I believe, the way that most people do their poured silver. But what if you could get 1,000-ounce bars for, 20 cents over spot per ounce, or 50 cents, let's say? That'd be a pretty interesting proposition, right? Or what if the community could get it and then you could cut it up and distribute it? That'd be pretty interesting. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe that's a side project for a different day.